this is Prerna and welcome back to our YouTube channel. From last few weeks, there are a lot of discussions and controversies going on in this internet world. Any guesses? Yes, it's the YouTube versus TikTok controversies. It all started by these two social medias. They started roasting each other. Okay, this was just for your information. Let's not go deep into this. Before introducing, I would like to ask you all a simple question. What do you feel about this YouTube versus TikTok? There are many celebrities, when they were interviewed about this YouTube and the TikTok controversies, some used to say that they are against it and some were for it. So what do you feel about this YouTube and TikTok? You can write it down in the comment section below. Okay, now without wasting any time, let me take the privilege to introduce to you all the speaker of today's evening. She is a professor at Andhra University with 26 years of experience in teaching and research. She is the principal co-investigator of Cybersecurity and Data Analytics Center. She was the former vice chairperson of AP State Council for Higher Education. She was the CEO of AP Innovation Society for 1 year. As the director for Andhra University Computer Center, she developed software for examination division. She was the founder vice chair of IEEE Vizag based subsection. She has 30 students awarded with PhDs under her guidance. She has over 150 papers published in reputed journals and conferences and has conducted several conferences, workshops, students' mega events, innovation fairs and hackathons. She is a senior member of IEEE, a fellow of IETE and life member of CRSI, CSI and ISTE. With this, I now welcome Dr. Valli Kumari Vatsavahi to our YouTube channel. We welcome you here, ma'am. Now, without wasting any time, let me hand over the platform to the speaker and the trainer for today's session.
Hello friends, this is Professor Valli Kumari speaking to you all on the topic Be Online, Be Secure. During this phase of COVID lockdown, everyone asks us to be at home to stay safe. How do we connect to our friends and relatives then? Only through online. So, I would now say enjoy being online but be secure. Beware, there are a lot of threats and several attacks and breaches have already happened. Let us now talk a bit on while being online, why to be secure, how to be secure, and what to do to be secure. I am giving you only a few tools, but there are many tools available on the net and I am sure you'll start exploring. 50% of the world's population is below 30 years. What does that mean? Most of them who have access to the internet and a smart device are online. Let us see the transition. Radio has taken 38 years to reach 50 million users. TV has taken 13 years to reach 50 million users. Internet took 4 years to reach 50 million users. And Facebook took just 1 year to reach 200 million users. While WhatsApp has 2000 million active users per month. This is the latest statistics taken in April 2020. Now you know how the internet usage is exploding. Where do you see yourself most of the time nowadays? Helping mom and dad, studying, or being on phone? Obviously, you must be on Facebook or WhatsApp or Instagram or LinkedIn or TikTok. I know. You must be sending a lot of likes, a lot of dislikes, thumbs ups to your friends' messages posted, or lot of other emojis and actions. Let us see how the data is exploding and the way the world is every minute. Data never sleeps. How much data is generated every minute? Look here. Every minute of the day, Google receives 4,000 search queries. Facebook users share 2,460,000 pieces of content, and email users send 204,000 messages every minute. YouTube users upload 72 hours of new videos every minute, right? So now, what about WhatsApp? WhatsApp users share 347,222 photos on the average every minute. And the same goes on with Instagram, Twitter, Amazon related transactions, and so on. Now you know the amount of usage, data usage on the internet. 96% of the millennials are on the social network. Yeah, that's a big number. And all of you who are in teens are in this 96%. Now you need to pay attention, because in social network, your online privacy can be affected by others, and others' privacy can be affected by yours. You might have used most of these applications. I have collected this information from some other website wherein this classification is done on which are the safest applications, safer applications, moderately safe applications, and the unsafe applications. Now just you go through this list and find out how many unsafe applications are installed in your mobile phone, or how many of these applications you're using the most. There's a recent survey, April 2020, after the COVID lockdowns started happening. Global mobile application rankings, the active users, okay, between January 2020 and March 2020. The monthly averages, Facebook is on the top, and then WhatsApp the next, and of course the remaining follow. Similarly, the games, the PUBG Mobile is on the top, and Candy Crush on the second, and the remaining follow. And these are the numbers of people spending more time with the devices. Smartphone or mobile phone, look at the number of females and to males ratio. So we see a lot of girls and women using smartphone, using smart devices, and they are slowly coming on to the internet platforms. What if you use these devices? What is wrong? There is nothing wrong on you getting boarded onto online platforms. But then, how about the people who provide you with the internet? How about the people who have designed the website and are offering services to you? How about the applications that you are installing on the mobile phone? How about the architects who have designed them and the coders who have developed the code? It's all related to them as well. What do your devices know about you when you are online? So your applications know your passwords, because you would say autofill, remember my password, and it is stored somewhere on your computer. So many applications might have access to that stored password. There might be deleted files which are there in the trash, and somebody else might uncover them. There could be bank account information, okay, and the recently browsed list of files, or your contacts, email IDs, phone numbers, all that is there in the address book, your credit card numbers, your Aadhaar card numbers, your income tax statements, your text messages, the SMS messages that you have on the phone call logs, and your name and addresses that you keep filling in whenever you visit some websites to download some stuff. All the Windows contacts, the address book, the contact manager, whatever details are stored in there. Most recently visited websites, and what are the locations from which you have access to a particular website or application, your current location. Lots and lots of information is known to outsiders through whatever you store in the phone or wherever you're taking your phone along with you. So what are the crimes that are happening? How are these cyber crimes related to the traditional crimes? So whenever somebody broke into a building with the intent of stealing some worthy goods, some expensive goods or cash, or in that case we used to call it as burglary. But in cybercrime, people steal what? People steal digital information, and it's called as hacking. That digital information could be your credit card number and pins and all that, or it could be some other interesting stuff about you. It's called as hacking. Now there were deceptive callers, criminals who telephone their victims and asked for their financial and personal identity information. But then the same on the internet, when it is done, it's called as phishing. So people get messages through SMS or through emails to disclose their financial or personal identity information. So when somebody uses one's official position or powers to obtain property or funds, it's called extortion. And internet extortion is like hacking into and controlling various industry databases, okay, to do something else which originally should not have been done. Then the fraud, in the classical terms, is like breach of confidence and gaining something unfairly. But internet fraud, so it's almost the same, but the thing is, like you try to do some fraudulent transactions. Identity theft is like impersonating or presenting oneself as another in order to gain access, information or reward. And identity theft on the internet means you're giving somebody else's passwords or typically some kind of an information to gain economically or otherwise. Similarly, there is child exploitation. For indecent purposes, they are victimized, and the same thing can happen on the internet too. So almost all the criminal things that can happen otherwise are also possible on the internet. Now, so what are the things you need to keep private? From whom you should keep them private? And what is important information and that should be anyhow kept private. So you should be able to classify all of these and put only the things that are releasable to public. Well, my strongest recommendation is stop taking any public quizzes, avoid giving any personal data, limit your number of emoji based reactions on the websites, because that click of yours would show your presence on the internet, your location, and not just that, many more things which are derivable when colluded with certain other applications information. Similarly, you need to clear cookies and browser caches frequently so that you are not tracked on the usage of Facebook or some other web applications. There are a lot of third-party tracking tools which actually collect data and combine with data from other sources, and then they sell them to the advertising agencies. And you keep getting advertisements flashed on your mobile screen or on your browser window or to your mails sometimes. So people use privacy screens so that there is no shoulder surfing. People sitting on your neighborhood, they should not peep into your screens and understand what. So you may use privacy screens. You may lock your screens when you're not using it for a long time. You have to have secure passwords. You have to secure your hard disk data when you're selling away the system or when you're replacing your system with a new one. Similarly, whenever you copy some data onto the USB drive, the USB has to be kept safe. Passwords. Never write your passwords and card pin numbers anywhere. Just memorize them. We'll go through a few applications that we normally use and try to see what best we can do to be secure online. First, the WhatsApp. So this is a platform where a lot of fake news is spreading. Well, very limited amount of useful information gets circulated. Let us all think before forwarding a message. If it is a message worth forwarding, then only forward it. To fight fake news, we all need to work together. And similarly, the photographs and videos that you get. Most of them, the photos could be real, but then the real photos are somehow with some video processing techniques and image processing techniques. They are deep fake. and then a story is created around. So there are a lot of messages getting circulated on Facebook or on WhatsApp or social media applications like that, which are false. When going through the message, see if the message is politically motivated or religiously motivated, or an individual, group or organization's point of view is written in that message. Then if you are not politically motivated, if you are not religiously motivated, and if you do not comply with that organization's view, you do not forward it. Similarly, see who can see your profile pic and who can actually track in your behavior, whether you are online or not. So you can block a contact or set your privacy settings so that you're not shown online. Please refer to any tutorial on the YouTube or on the WhatsApp website itself on how to do these privacy settings. And still, if you see something alarming, then in case you want to complain, you can use this, the mail address, or go to the website of WhatsApp and then file a complaint. Websites that we visit normally. Check the name and check the genuinity of the website. There are cases where fake names are given, very close names are given to the actual popular websites. IRCTC, the T may be changed to L. Then when you get a message saying you are getting a rail ticket for free, you click on this link irclc.co.in, because the pattern, it matches irctc.co.in. We don't go through each letter, but we click on it. Just that click might download a lot of softwares onto your mobile phone or onto your computer. So check for the names and also check the genuinity. Like for instance, this is a program which I have run on my computer. The website is amiunique.org. Okay, this shows the tracking of my presence online. That website knows which operating system I am using, which browser I use most of the time, say 38.06% of the time, and then which version, which time zone I am in, and so on. And when you scroll this up, there is lot of other information about my computer, my browser available as a output. I'm just showing you the top portion of that website. Similarly, we have a website called Have I Been Pawned? So you type your mail ID and check to which websites you have supplied your mail ID, and if those websites were breached. You also have something called namecheck.com. You can as well check the genuinity here. So like this, you have lot of other websites where you can check in the genuinity of a particular website, whether it is a good website to which you can subscribe or not. So a few safety check tips. Google searches are tracked and stored. It's better if you can use a DuckDuckGo search engine for searching something on the web. They don't track your browsing behavior. Then the browsers, do the security and privacy settings for every browser, whether it is Mozilla or Chrome or Safari browser or any other browser. Then delete cookies, clear cookies. There are a lot of other tools wherein you can plug into your browsers and then prevent the tracking of your web browsing behavior. Ensure any website that you visit is prefixed with HTTPS, which means secure HTTP. When you're using emails, don't click on suspicious links and attachment. Don't get lured with offers and coupons, like if they say send me your bank account number and all that, we'll credit you money. Don't ever get attracted to such offers. No one is giving you something for free. And keep changing your passwords regularly. And if there are any suspicious files and URLs, you can analyze them through this website called VirusTotal. You can search for it on the internet, and you can feed the URL name of any website or the file that you are doubting onto this, and it gives you the analyzed report about that program or that website. So there are a lot of other website programs like Test Any Website, Nibbler. Next, the Facebook. It's all about friends and the posts that can be read by your friends. Accept a friend request only if you know him. Ensure who can see your photos. Never reshare something which somebody unknown has sent to you. Just share something which your friends have posted. Similarly, share something to only your groups or your friends. Never share it unless it is very much required to public. Similarly, do the privacy settings on who can see your photographs and ensure you have no cloned Facebook accounts. So people open Facebook accounts on your name by collecting photographs of yours from elsewhere on the web and then attract your friends. So your friends, assuming that it is you, they get connected and they keep chatting with them. For example, when you're posting photographs, ensure that you are not uploading clear and high resolution photographs onto the internet, because a lot of morphing is happening and deepfaking is happening. Don't participate in challenges like Grand Sari Challenge or some other kinds of challenges where you are asked to upload photographs of yours. Now there is an application called Pic2Map, so you can visit the website. You can upload a photograph and somebody can, using that photograph, find out lot of information about you. Something like where it was taken, what is the shutter speed, what is the camera manufactured, what is the exposure compensation, something like date and time on which the image is taken, and lot of other things. The photo was shot using an LG Nexus 4 camera at an aperture of some. So you have all the camera information, file information, and then date and time, GPS. So just looking at the photograph, this program can actually determine everything about the photograph. Mobile security. Our mobiles are our identity. Now find out any message that you receive, whether it is genuine or fake or a hoax message. Due to overheat, mobiles might blast, so switch off your phone for 48 years. Now this is unbelievable. Similarly, buy Samsung mobile at $499. And now look at the URL, amazon.mobile flash sale. So Amazon has its own website. You don't have to be a subdomain of some mobile flash sale. So this is a fake link. Similarly, you might get a lot of free offers. So check for the URLs on which you are asked to click. And then try to see that you never click on such links. You just cut and paste that URL on the browser and the browser will try to see if that is a genuine one or not. Never click it from your mobiles. Mobile threats 2020. Professionals estimate that mobile ad fraud would cause $100 billion loss per year by 2023. This loss is due to data leakage or due to social engineering attacks or due to Wi-Fi interference, and by intercepting your wireless media, your passwords are hacked, or out of date devices. Because the devices are old, you can't install the latest updates and security patches, and the vulnerabilities still exist on the operating systems and they are hacked. And cryptojacking attacks, wherein crypto mining can be done on your devices using your computation power. Because of poor passwords, the attacks might happen. Or physical device breaches, because you're not locking down the screen or you don't have a proper access mechanism set to your mobile data. Your physical device might get breached. So to sum up, safety checks, links in SMS, click only if you know, lock the screen, check for malware or virus in your system by updating appropriate antivirus softwares. Then update your softwares regularly whenever a latest version is released. In case you are facing a cyber related issue, inform your parents, inform your teachers, ask your parents to approach the concerned authorities if the situation is really alarming. Don't panic, because everyone around is all set to help you here. So information security awareness program is launched by Government of India, wherein the students, the teachers, the youngsters, the women, all the users of the internet should know when they are using some services online. A. Always properly log out after completion of online transaction. Be careful on what you click. Clear cookies and delete browsing history at the end of session and stay safe. Do not carry your PIN number in wallets. Better to memorize your PIN. Enlighten yourself on cybersecurity measures. Follow basic rules of social networking and prevent damaging your online relationships. Giving out your personal information online is not advisable. Help yourself to maintain a positive online presence. Install antivirus protection. Join hands to stop spreading fake news. Keep software up to date. Lock your devices when not in use. Monitor your accounts for any suspicious activity. Never believe on forwarding messages. Check source and the URL whenever you get a message. Only install apps and software from trusted sources. Pay extra attention when using public Wi-Fi at airports, in the railway stations, and other public places. Quarantine all unused apps. Respect the privacy of others. Scan any file downloaded from internet before opening or using or installing. Turn on automatic updates for your operating system. Use strong passwords with personal acronym. Verify with whom you are interacting online. Watch out for online scams. Extra precaution for your online financial transactions. Your priority on cybersecurity makes you cyber-aware citizen. Zero participation in dark web. I would like to thank you all for a patient listening. Stay home, stay safe, be online, be secure.
It was a wonderful and informative session, ma'am. Got to know so many things that we were not so aware. And as you said that we should not use any open Wi-Fi. So this was something that I used always. As a teenager, I get so excited when I get to know that there is some open Wi-Fi available. But as you said that it's very much dangerous to use it. So from now on, I promise that I'll never do that. Thank you, ma'am, for sparing your valuable time for us and giving us so many wonderful informations about cyber security and privacy. Thank you once again, ma'am. If you love the video, then please do like, comment and share it to all your dear friends. And if you are new to our channel, then please do subscribe to our channel Prerna Plus and do press the bell icon to receive further notifications. Bye bye friends. Meet you next week, same day, same time and with a new topic. So until then, stay home, stay safe and enjoy yourself.